Good morning. Oh, Friday morning. Oh my God. Oh. Um, so last night I had dreadful night's sleep. I literally had about 3 hours sleep. Um, I mean, I say the same thing every week, but I'm going to say it again. It's particularly cold at the moment, which is probably why I've got my arthritis gloves on because honestly, the pain at the moment is quite horrific. Um, anyway, so it's quite cold, and the cat, Akira, who is huge now, so he's like this big, has to sleep on the bed. Now, I always keep the electric blanket on quite low because honestly, it really, can you think about it? Electric blanket in Australia. But yes, it gets cold and it gets really cold. And I'm assuming this is because of the desert, the nature of the place, the desert nature of this place. Um, so anyway, Akira has to sleep on the bed, and the other half kicks the covers off his side, and then he complains that he's cold, but it's him who's kicked the covers off, and Akira sleeps dead center between both of us, and you can't move. You literally cannot move. I'm like that. I'm on the edge of the bed, and I just cannot move. So wake up in the morning and he's moaning because he's cold and I'm next to all the cover, but I haven't. Literally haven't. It's number one, him kicking it off. Number two, Akira sleeping in between us. If I had my way, I would not have any cats in the bed at all. Because, I mean, I was actually reading an article about this the other day, and it was saying that, one of the main reasons that we don't get a lot of sleep as human beings is because of our pets, whether it be cats or dogs or whatever. And it is really, really unhealthy. I need sleep. I need a certain amount of sleep. Admittedly, I was working a late shift last night and then had to come back in early in the morning, but that's immaterial because usually I would get, sufficient sleep to survive. But today, oh my God, I've even put moisturiser on this morning. I tried to do something with my eyes, but that's not working. And I put my glasses on. But the glare off the lights at the moment, I think is probably where I've just woken up, is too much. So I'm like, forget that for a bit. And very focused as well. It just takes you a while to, you know, acclimatise, I suppose you would say. I know. Um, Fantastic week for many reasons. Um, Obviously, the first one is the Labour victory in the UK, which was which was great. Um, I did watch a bit of it. I had to go out in between to an appointment, but I was watching a bit of it, and it was, it was wonderful to see uh, Labour win again. I have no idea how they're going to be as government. I mean, it's been years since they've been in power, so 14 years. So just don't know. I suppose I've said this before. I've voted for every single political party going in my life, but I suppose deep down, due to my father's influence, I'm going. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a socialist. I'm a social democrat. I am a supporter of the Labour Party, and I suppose a supporter of the Liberal Democrats as well. So both, really. Uh, Obviously, where I was living in Southampton, Labour now controls both parts of that city, so they've got two Labour MPs again, which is nice. Um, and I was just ecstatic. I was ecstatic to see the Tory party gone. but not just gone, but wiped out. And that's heartening. I think the biggest problem with it is, unlike Australia, in Britain we are not forced to vote, so we don't have to vote if we don't want to. Now, I'm sort of coming round to the conclusion that that's not a good thing. And I think we should possibly follow the Australian model of making people vote. There's no reason why you can't. You know, it's not a difficulty. I think maybe British people are particularly lazy and they just don't want to get out and vote. I mean, my grandparents on my mother's side never voted, never. Yet they would always be the first to complain about whatever was going on at the time. Whether normally if there was a Labour government in, because they were quite true blue on my mother's side. On my father's side, they were Nan was from Liverpool, and she would say she voted Labour, but we all know that she voted for Margaret Thatcher in the late 70s and 80s. So I think she liked Margaret Thatcher for whatever reason. I liked Margaret Thatcher, to be honest. Not all her politics, but as a leader, I thought she was exceptional. I thought she was one of the best leaders the United Kingdom has ever had. And whatever your politics, that is true. You can't get away from that. She was fantastic. No leader after her has lived up to that expectation. I thought Tony Blair might, but he kind of ruined that with the Iraq War. So, you know. But then, I mean, Margaret Thatcher and the Falklands War, and that controversy of her sinking the Belgrano, as it was apparently or allegedly sailing away from the Falkland Islands. You know, that was a bit of a mistake, or was it? I don't know. We don't know. I'm not sure about Keir Starmer. I mean, look, he hasn't got the personality of other leaders. I was listening to him on the news this morning, actually, at the NATO summit, and he's very. It's all about detail with him, which I suppose is good in a way. He's not all bravado and all Boris Johnson. He's not sort of dramatic, hands in the air and all the rest of it. He's just a very quiet, unassuming guy, and I think possibly that's what the UK needs at the moment. I think because it was such a bloody mess beforehand, to be honest with you, and you can see all the infighting starting with the Tory party now. So we all knew that would come anyway. I have spoken to my father, of course. So I spoke to him last week. Oh, no, I spoke to him Saturday. So yeah, last week. Can't even remember what day it is. That's how tired I am. So Dad was obviously extremely happy about it. He will be a socialist through and through, and so he was delighted. I think he said to me, what has he said, or someone else? He's delighted that he's got to see a Labour government. I don't know where he thinks he's going, because he's going to be around for a long time. But yeah, he's delighted, and I am too, Dad. So that's all good. Also been a good week because it's the end of our tax year. 1st of July is the beginning of the tax year. So I've had my first wages we've had some tax cuts. Now they're supposed to be quite substantial tax cuts. I don't think they are, to be honest. I've had a pay rise as well, which is good. But yeah, so it sees about an extra $100 a week, possibly. So I mean, look, it's more than what you would get in the UK. I mean, I can remember they were cutting this, that, and the other in the UK. They cut VAT, they cut tax in the past, but it was minuscule, and it didn't really make any difference. I think a lot of tax cutting is the headlines, just saying we are cutting income tax, etc., etc., and people just fall for that every single time. So it puts a bit of extra money in our pockets for sure. And obviously with the pay rise as well coming at the same time, that's handy. But the cost of living here is, you know, in the stratosphere. It's out of control completely. So it's going to make a difference? Not really. It's not going to make a real difference. It will allow me to save a bit extra onto the mortgage each month probably. So yeah, it's not going to make a massive difference at all. Not for us anyway. Look, I mean, as a couple, we're pretty comfortable off anyway. Comfortably off. We're fine. We haven't really got any issues. It's other people that are suffering, but incidentally, it is other people with huge mortgages and huge cars that they've got on credit and loans and all the rest of it. We kept our mortgage as low as possible, so we have I think it's a $250,000 mortgage, and I pay an extra $1,000 a month into that. So I suppose in a way I've changed from that reckless student, which I was still up until the age of 40 plus, I think, who would just spend money willy nilly, to sort of ploughing it back into either my pension or the mortgage, which is the best thing to do. So I've managed to cut the term of our mortgage down from 30 years to 10. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's an absolute necessary for me because I'm sort of working on a 10-year plan at the moment. So in 10 years, we will sort of reassess our lives and decide where to go, whether we stay in Australia, whether we move back to Europe if we haven't all been blown up in a nuclear war, of course, or go to Asia. We just don't know at the moment. But everything with me at the moment is working towards this 10-year plan. And, you know, that suits me at the moment. It allows me to just save for the future in the medium term. So, and I suppose for 10 years I'll be 63. God, I still have another 5 years to work, technically. And I can work longer than that if I want. I may, at that point, move all my pensions from the UK to here. I possibly want to. Well, we're going to invest in another property anyway. But if we've got the money, if the money's built up, we could possibly get another one as well. Then that would sort of set us up, you know, for the rest of our lives, however long that may be. So all these cogs going around in my head. These are not things I've done in the past. I've never really thought about investments or mortgages or buying houses or whatever because I was just living life to the full. In truth, I'm not living life in the fullest way possible now. So I'm living a very quiet life. I have a very small social life. But it's a case of, you know, both of us need to get ahead, and that's the most important thing for us. So yes, it's hard work, but at least with Australia, it's hard work does pay dividends, and the harder you work, the more you'll get. The wages here are exceptional, as I said, very different to the UK. So you just have to work. And they do have, because, you know, people that are long-term benefits scroungers, whatever you want to call them, here. And they remind me very much of those in the UK. Very similar sort of outlook, and, you know, it's, you think to yourself, I'm very lucky. We've been here for getting on for 2 years. And we've done very well. You know, when I look back, we bought a house within 4 months. You know, we got a new car. Yeah, good pensions, good jobs, investing money when we can, and our life is pretty good, really. A lot better than what it was in the UK, especially towards the end, I can assure you. So yeah, we're happy enough. It's, you know, me and the other half against the world, really, and that's the way we like it, and that's the way we've always been. So there we go. Food for thought today. Okay, I'm off. it's I've been talking or waffling now for 15 minutes, and yeah, I need to get my glasses on, see what I'm doing, and yeah, get to work. So have a good day. Ciao.